We are live. This is, I'm like getting so lucky with all the founders who we get to talk to this week. Day 63 of This Is Not Advice. Anna said I'm the Tom Brokaw VC Twitter, which I think Min is definitely more in the anchor spot, but I don't know what to make of that. I did once work on that show, though. That's a story for another day. Okay, so Anna's business, the Interintellect, identifies some of the most promising intellectual talents in the world. And so the question we've had, and we had this in a certain form with Lucas Biewald yesterday, is about how you know if talent's going to be great. So how do you know if somebody is a diamond in the rough or just no diamond, all rough? And Anna would love any perspective that you have.
Thank you so much. I think this is the $1 million question now, right? Because talent is taking the power, right? This is the era of talent, the passion economy, and people are more, incentivized and empowered than ever before to.
It's definitely true for high-end talent. I think if you are working class, it is a lot harder to be in the era of talent. But in the information and media world, for sure.
That's true, and let's hope that some of your portfolio companies will be empowering the workforce as well through technology and automation. Totally. So it's a very interesting question, and it kind of goes down to one of the fundamental questions of human psychology, which is kind of nurture versus nature or nature versus nurture, right? Is talent a natural phenomenon that has to be found, or is it something that can be built or at least refined? My observation, I work with, thousands of prospective intellectual talents in the Interintellect, and we're just reaching that phase in our company where we actually see results. And my take is that most people have talent, most people have a zone of genius, and it's mostly a question of timing. Are you meeting somebody who's ready to be zoning in on their talent? Is this something that they want to do now? And if so, you embark on a discovery phase to allow both yourself and them to.
I love that insight, because we tend to treat it as so innate. And you're saying, well, it's about when in the life journey of that person you hit them. So what are the things, you have to quickly assess whether somebody has the potential for the timing to be right. And so what are the ways that you do that?
Oh, yeah. So first of all, talent means something very different for basically anybody, right? So it's important to know what is talent for you.
Yeah, but let's take your example.
Yeah, so for me, talent obviously is a combination of skills and morality, right? So I'm looking for people who are looking to do good in the world and have a deployable skill set to achieve that. Interintellect is live entertainment. So we have around the clock long live intellectual salons, which are amazing spaces for finding out.
But I'm going to interrupt you because I feel like I'm losing the thread on the question, which is, person comes along and says, I want to be the next star. How do you know if the timing is right for them in their life, for them to go from appearing to be rough to being clearly a diamond?
So I usually do that through conversation. And because we're in business.
What are the things that you find out through conversation? Like, if I wanted to figure out if somebody was ready, how would I do it?
I just ask, what are their next step most of the time? So we talk about their plans, we talk about their life experience, their reference points, their role models, and you kind of see, does this person have a hunch already, or at least the willingness to take advice on what the next step can be?
Yeah. In our circles, yes. Sorry, finish your thought. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, in our circles, most of the people's next steps are starting to write a book or a blog or a newsletter or a podcast, or starting to teach the public in another way. And you're like, okay, so where are you on that journey? And do you want to be on that journey in the first place?
Yeah, the things that as an investor that I see, I remember I was talking to a founder who was a PhD, and he was thinking about a scientific research business. And I asked him entirely about what his hypotheses were, his guesses. And the quality of his guesses was so determinative of where we go, because you act based on your guesses, you act based on your beliefs. And then, we got in a conversation. I didn't really have any input for him. I more had questions. And then he figured it out from there. But it is a great joy. And I know you will discover many of these people when folks who don't believe they can do something all of a sudden begin to believe that they can do it. And when you get to feel like part of that transformation. It is an incredible molting from hey, I was just, Ted Chiang. I was just a technical writer, maybe at Microsoft, at a company in Seattle, I don't know where. And now I'm like the greatest short story writer alive, that kind of thing. So I think that's cool, and I'm excited. I loved my first Inner Intellect salon, and I'm looking forward to more.
We love to have you. I think so there's a bit of a misunderstanding, I think, around the push. Because, there's like, oh yeah, most people just need a push to achieve something great. And I love Tyler Cohen's point about like the insane returns on just raising somebody's aspirations. But I think we also have an innate fear of making our own dreams come true.
Yeah.
People know that sometimes your dreams don't actually feel as good as you hoped for, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
So for me, creating a way where people feel like they have ownership and ongoing agency in realizing their dreams, so they can iterate if it doesn't work. Like I iterated on my realizing my own dream multiple times since I was 20. I kind of knew what I wanted, but because it was so counterintuitive, this job that I'm doing right now didn't even exist when I was 20. I had to make it.
Totally.
And that was a long process. And sometimes you're just like, actually, I thought this is what I wanted. This doesn't make me happy. How can I iterate on it? How can I move toward a more crystallized version of where my best self is?
So both encouraging people that they can do it, the push, but also recognizing that they're going to have their own inner psychological barriers. And part of your role is to be a sounding board for them as they evolve through that. I totally buy that. All right. Got a jet. Anna, I will talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, to be continued. Thank you, Min.
Great.